Welcome to the Grace Period, where we get real about attorney mental health and well-being and pull back the veil on the high-stakes world of big law. I'm your host, Emily Logan Stedman. In this demanding profession, it is crucial that we don't lose ourselves in the hustle for billable hours. On the Grace Period, we have honest conversations about finding consistency, minimizing chaos, developing coping strategies, and destigmatizing mental health. It is time to prioritize our shared humanity, to find our Grace Period. On today's episode, number 35 of the Grace Period, I want to talk about taking breaks and building the trust and credit to take breaks strategically. This is something that I consider a little unconventional, at least in our profession. I want to talk about taking time off, not a vacation day, not a sick day, just a regular midweek day or afternoon off. More importantly, I want to talk about why I do it, what it's done for my career, and how it's connected to building the kind of platform, privilege, and space that lets me speak honestly about our profession. So let's get into it. I've recently admitted, and will admit again here, that I regularly do something that might make some of my colleagues raise an eyebrow. I take a day off. I take a day off or an afternoon off during the work week. Sometimes it's planned, sometimes it's spontaneous. It's always when my to-do list allows for it and when my billable hours are accounted for. I do this when things are tidied up, when there's a lull, when I know my team isn't relying on me in that moment. 9 years in big law have taught me a few things. One of the biggest is the value of blocking time to work on my business, not just in it. And, maybe even more importantly, it's taught me the value of blocking time to take care of myself, especially when everything has to get done, is done, or can wait, especially when everything that has to get done is done, or can wait. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. How is that possible? Isn't big law all about the billable hour, about being available, responsive, 24/7, and always on? Sure, it is that way for some people and some firms and some partners and some practice groups. But because of the way I manage my billable hours, because of the way I manage my time, I can do this without sacrificing my hours requirement and without skimping on my reliability and responsiveness. I build these days into my weekly, monthly, and annual billing goals. I plan for them, and when they're spontaneous, I take them because I know where I stand on my billable hours. I've built the trust and credit with my teammates, with those that I manage and those who manage me, so that they know I'm not leaving them in a lurch. I give myself permission to walk away when things are tidied up and taken care of. I give myself permission to take advantage of slow times because there will be slow times. And when it ramps up again, in the middle of that chaos, you'll regret that you didn't do more with yourself and your time when it was more calm. But I want to be clear. This isn't about slacking off. It's about being strategic. It's about recognizing that mental fatigue impairs judgment. Strategic breaks actually decrease mistakes. And maybe most importantly, rest is a professional obligation. It's not a luxury. It's not a weakness. As lawyers, we have an ethical duty of competence. That includes taking care of ourselves. Can we be competent? Can we provide diligent and zealous representation and advocacy for our clients if we don't take care of ourselves? I think the answer is a resounding no. So I try to model a sustainable practice, and I call on others to join me in doing the same. But know this, I didn't always have the space to do this. I didn't always have the platform or some of the privileges to speak openly about the realities of big law. I didn't always have the platform or privilege to set boundaries or to say no when I needed to. That space wasn't handed to me. It wasn't luck or personality. It's because for years, my work and work ethic generally backed me up. Now, I'm not perfect. None of us are. But over the course of my 9-year career in private practice, I've maintained a high level of responsiveness and reliability. I've learned from my mistakes and mostly not repeated them. I've been a sponge, been enthusiastic, and I've produced strong work ethic. In turn, I earned trust by consistently delivering year after year. As an associate, I hit and often exceeded my billable targets. And I also invested heavily in non-billable work, mentoring, recruiting, associate leadership, business development, firm initiatives, recruiting, diversity, you name it. I showed I was committed to my growth and to my team, but also to my firm. Of course, it wasn't all wind and smooth sailing. There were doubts, mistakes, tough or even toxic personalities, and work I didn't love doing. That's the reality of private practice. Big law is demanding and it's imperfect. There are high expectations, high stakes, and a clear hierarchy. All of that's part of the deal that you sign up for when you enter private practice and or big law. But the most successful people I know don't ignore that reality. They learn to work within it. They build credit and then they use it thoughtfully. So over time, I've learned that you can have boundaries. You can say no sometimes and with intention. You can be kind and carve out a niche that fits your goals. You can avoid or leave toxic environments. You can even find contentment. But none of that is easy, and there's always a trade-off. You have to build credit and trust to take advantage of these possibilities. The more space you have to use your voice and shape your path, that comes with the credit and trust you build over time. So if you're in the thick of it, if you're an associate grinding away or a partner feeling like you're barely keeping your head above water, and on the day I'm recording this, I am very barely keeping my head above water. My advice to you is to keep investing in yourself, your career, and your firm, even when it's hard, and even if that means, as it should, taking breaks. The space you earn along the way is worth it. And with that space, you can do so much to chart your own path and your own course. Use that space. Use it to rest, to reflect, to build your brand, to develop your business, to mentor others, and to speak up for what matters. Use it to model a different way of being a lawyer. That's what we need more of in this profession. Thank you for joining me on this episode of The Grace Period. I hope this discussion has provided some insights about taking breaks and earning trust and credit so you can be even more strategic with your time and your rest. Remember, you don't have to sacrifice your well-being for career success. By prioritizing self-care, setting boundaries, and seeking support, you can survive and even thrive in the law and in big law. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. That is the path to our grace period. Disclaimer: all views and opinions expressed in this episode are strictly my own. This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It does not constitute professional advice of any kind, including legal advice. No attorney-client relationship is created by listening to this podcast.